Hello and welcome back to the Football Manager Experiment, and perhaps the most requested country I've had since I've been doing experiments. We're back for What If a Billionaire Invests in Romania. Now, before we get into today's episode, I do want to just say a few little things before. The first one of those things is that today, the 14th of March, is my birthday. So if you're ever going to subscribe or if you're ever going to like a video, make sure it's this one. It's my birthday, so make sure you do that for me. That'd be fantastic. And also, I'd like to bring your attention to the TomFM t-shirts that we're starting to bring out now. If you head over to teespring.com/TomFM5k, then you get onto this lovely webpage here displaying the t-shirts for TomFM. So as we're on 4,000 subscribers now and making our way to 5,000, we're releasing limited edition first 5k t-shirts. So as you can see here, the new logo is displayed like a football logo on a t-shirt basically. So like a football shirt in my opinion. And then underneath you've got a little 5k to say you've got a commemorative 5k hitting that sort of target. So as soon as we hit 5,000 subscribers, these t-shirts are going to go off sale. We've got long sleeve and short sleeve as well. Here's the long sleeve version as well. And they come in 5 different colours: white, navy when it wants to load, red, black and grey as well. So these t-shirts are available for you until we hit 5,000 subscribers. So make sure you grab them quickly, because I'm sure we'll get to 5,000 very quickly, as you guys seem to show some immense support on these videos recently. So thank you very much for all that. And if you'd like a t-shirt, teespring.com/TomFM5k to go and grab one. Right, into today's video then. Romania is the focus. They're currently 27th in the world rankings at the moment, which is pretty good going, to be fair. They've got some decent players. Costel Pantilimon is apparently the top player, plays for Nottingham Forest right now, but there's a few players there who I think probably could be a bit better in future and things like that. If we look at the Romanian first division then, it's 19th in the world rankings right now, and there's some decent sides in there, to be fair. Steaua Bucharest have won the Champions League before, so they're obviously probably the most recognised team there. Universitatea Craiova, I think it's perhaps how you say that. They're a very decent side. They used to be a decent side back in the day. I think not quite sure if they're as good as they used to be, but they're a very, very decent side. So we could see them winning some titles again, for example. FC Cluj are a decent side as well. They've been in the Champions League in recent years, I think in the group stage and things like that. I'm sure they played Manchester United a few years ago in the Champions League, so that's pretty cool. And then FC Viitorul are, of course, a decent side as well. If you watch the link in Loco, then you know that we played them in the Europa League group stages for a little bit, and they won the title in real life last season. So they must be a decent side, obviously. We've also given £1 billion to every single side in the Romanian second division as well. They're 46th in the world rankings, or the European rankings, I should say. So obviously some decent sides in there, looking for some decent results. There's a lot to play for as well, a lot of relegation and a lot of promotion. So there's a lot to play for in this league and a lot of money to go around with it as well. So I'm looking forward to see the kind of results that we'll see in these first two divisions. So this first episode, because there will be a lot of change, I think we're only going to go 3 years in the future to 2020, but I think there's going to be a lot of change in there. So join me in a minute when we get to 2020. So we're back now in 2020, and as you can see, it's been a good time for Romania. They've risen to 13th in the world rankings, which is pretty good going, to be fair. Let's have a quick look at their schedule the past 2 or 3 years and see what's happened. So if we go back to 2017, had a pretty decent year there. Only lost to the USA and had 2 draws, but absolutely unbeaten in the World Cup qualifying, which is good going. Qualified for the World Cup, but unfortunately couldn't get out of their group. Beat the USA, but lost to Morocco and South Korea, which I think they were disappointed with there. But other than that, had an alright year. I say an alright year, it was a fairly good year, apart from the World Cup, which was probably disappointing. 2019, again, European Championship qualifying was pretty decent. Only the Netherlands and Sweden beating them. Netherlands beat them twice. I don't think they're going to qualify for the European Championship, but they're looking good for like a 2nd or 3rd place, which is quite good going actually. I say that they actually have qualified. They must have come 2nd. They must have done, because they got through the semi-finals and the playoffs and things like that. So currently against Ukraine, Sweden and France. We'll pick up on that next time, of course, but good going from Romania, qualifying for international tournaments. In terms of players in the Romanian side, the best player is Florian Andone. He plays for Coruña at the moment, La Coruña, or Deportivo La Coruña, I should say. Striker playing there. He looks alright, to be fair. I'm sure he's not at Deportivo La Coruña in real life, or he is. He's just moved there. I recognise him from Cordoba, to be fair, but I'm a few years behind actually on that. Had a very, very good season though. 22 goals and 32 appearances. That's a fantastic season. So no wonder Romania doing very well with him at the helm. If we look at potentiality though, who is the best potential? It's this guy, Dennis Mann from AC Milan. He's 21 years old. Is he a regen? He's not a regen, because he's got his blacked out face, so he's not a regen. Otherwise he'd have the regen face, obviously. But on loan from Tottenham, currently at AC Milan. He's been around for a long, long, long time. Hang on. He's 21 years old. So he was born in 1998. He started his first season in 2005 when he was 7 years old. So, I mean, he's had a long career since being 7 years old. That's that's weird, I think. That's caught me off guard. I'm not quite sure what to make of that. But he's been around a long time, obviously, in Romanian football before moving to Tottenham for £5 million. Made a little bit of an impact, but went to AC Milan and didn't really make much of an impact there, to be fair. Only playing 8 games and getting 1 assist. But he looks like a good prospect for the future with 166 potential. Janot Radu. Everyone knows about him as a goalkeeper and football manager. He's a decent one, but only 159 potential at the moment in this one, which to me thinks it must have gone down a little bit. Perhaps he's not quite reached it, but he's got a good potential ability and a good current ability, I should say, actually. And at 23 years old, playing for Inter Milan, I think he's probably having quite a decent career at the moment. I say decent career at the moment. He's played very well the past 2 seasons in Serie A for Inter Milan. 5 goals in that 5 appearances in that first season, 1 conceded, and 18 and 14 the season afterwards with some good average ratings. He probably could go on to be a decent Serie A goalkeeper. Right, well, let's look at the Romanian First Division then, and it's gone down from 19th to 25th overall. It's been bouncing. It was 19th, when we started in 2016, and stayed there. It must have been 2017 as well. Dropped to 24th, dropped to 32nd, and then has risen to 25th again. So we'll have to investigate what's happened there. But we'll look at the league table for the past 3 seasons. So we'll go back to that first season. And as you can see, Cracovia win it despite Cluj finishing top, and that is because there's a championship playoff group as well. So the league splits in 2 halfway through, or at least it splits into a form where the top 6 compete for the championship, basically. So then the top 6 go in there and sort of play each other. They start at 50% of their league points. So if we look back at this league table, Cluj had 49 points, so they split that in half. And the same with Craiova, which I feel like I've said wrong a few times already, but I'm going to try and get it right. Craiova obviously had 48 points, so would have started on 24 points. And it's the same reason why these teams here are in the red and relegated, because they've obviously come bottom of their relegation group, because there's also a relegation group for the bottom 8 teams there. So Juventus, Bucharest, and a few other teams going down with them there as well. Season afterwards, though, Cluj do top the table and win the qualification, or what is it called, the championship group, the Champions playoff. They win that as well with Steaua Bucharest, or FCSB. I'm not entirely sure what to call them at the moment, because I know they've got a bit of an identity crisis. At least I think they do still. So they finished second, and Craiova, the team that won it last year, have dropped all the way down to 6th overall there in the championship group. How did they get on? 4th, a bit of an improvement, I suppose, but Cluj runaway winners there. And the bottom 3 teams ended up going on to be relegated as well, so not too much change there. It looks like a pretty normal table, that, doesn't it? And then the season we have just had, Craiova do eventually go back and win their title. After a poor season the season before, they go back, win the league, and then win the Champions playoff. Cluj finishing runners-up there in both of those. But Dinamo Bucharest and CSM Poly managing to get themselves into 3rd and 4th place for European competitions as well, which is pretty good going, to be fair. Viitorul and FCSB dropping down out of those European places as well. Only 2 teams relegated this season. That is because there's also a relegation playoff. And I guess Juventus Bucharest, trying to get promoted, lost to Botoșani. So that is why though only 2 teams got relegated that season. In terms of transfers then, not a whole lot of money being spent. Craiova in that first season spending quite a bit. Ivo Pinto being the biggest transfer there. 9.5 million is that total one there. He's not a bad player, is Ivo Pinto. Is he still at Craiova? He still is there, to be fair, so he must be doing alright. Had some alright seasons. Stat-wise, not really the best, to be fair, but I suppose he's a defender. I sort of use him more as a wing-back and winger than I've used him before in other games, so I kind of expect him to get more assists and things like that, but he's defensively, I'm sure he's been pretty decent because they've won the league twice, so it does go to show that he's probably been quite a good signing. Cluj also spending quite a bit of money that season as well. Actually, in fact, they spent quite a bit of money, to be fair. They brought in a lot of players, but didn't spend quite as much as Craiova. The season afterwards, though, FCSB splashing the cash this time, 11.75 million this time for a chap from Leeds. Is he any good? He's still there, to be fair, and had some 2 decent seasons, lots of assists and goals, so a good show from him, I suppose. Lawrence de Bock also moving from Leeds to Craiova this time for 13.5 million, being that potential cost, 11 million spent so far, which is a lot of money, obviously, for a player probably only of championship quality if he's coming from Leeds, for example. And then the season we just had, Craiova also there once again spending the biggest amounts of money. 4.3 rising to 6.5 is the biggest there for Alexandru Matan. Is he any decent? Let's have a look at his stats and see how he's done. As a attacking midfielder left, 1 assist and 1 goal. It's not really the kind of performances you'd expect, I don't think. I mean, you would have expected a lot more considering he's going to be playing regular football, trying to attack the possession, trying to attack the opposition. I feel let down by that. So I feel like they spent too much money there and they sort of wasted it, especially he's been, his transfer fees nearly doubling every single time. Right, let's look at a few European performances then from some of these teams. Now, Craiova obviously won the league in that first season we did, so we'll look at them first just because of that. In that first season, though, they were in the Europa League, but only got as far as the playoffs and lost to Zenit. So won a win away from the group stages. Season afterwards, they were in the Champions League for winning the league. Season afterwards, they were in the Champions League for winning the league. They beat Partizan that second qualifying round, but lose to Legia Warsaw, which puts them against Sheriff in the Euro Cup fourth qualifying round, the last qualifying round there, and won on away goals. Fortunately, there it was 3-3 after that. So they went into Euro Group I, but unfortunately lost most of their games, beating Zultwagram 5-0 and drawing with them again, but losing to Monaco and Fenerbahce twice wasn't quite the results they would have wanted, and unfortunately crashed out the competition. But a decent performance from them. And then the season we just had, once again getting through those qualifying rounds in the Euro Cup to go into Group B. Slightly better performance this time by getting 2 wins against APOEL. Pretty decent results there, but lose to Cologne and Bilbao twice, so obviously must have come third in that group. If we look at Cluj now, in this first season, didn't have any European football, but the second season they did. Only got to the Euro Cup third qualifying round, losing to Red Bull Leipzig after beating Midtjylland in that first or second qualifying round, I should say. And then the season, we've just had a 19-20 season. They got to the Euro Cup group stages after being in the Champions League qualifications, getting through to the third qualifying round, losing to Ludogorets, but then beating Karabag once again. They beat them twice, actually. They beat them in the second qualifying round of the Champions League, then beat them in the Euro Cup fourth qualifying round to get into Group L. However, though, lost quite a few of their games, beat Sparta Prague once and drew Fenerbahce once, but lost all the other games, which meant they didn't progress any further. Right, Steaua Bucharest then, let's have a look at them. In this first season, get to the Euro Cup playoffs, but lose on away goals to Panathinaikos after a 4-1 win in that first leg. You would have thought a 4-1 up, you're going through, but Panathinaikos had other ideas, managing to beat them on away goals in the end. Season afterwards, lose to Zurich in the same round once again on away goals. Very, very unfortunate way to go, twice in a row as well on away goals, so it's not the best. Didn't lose a single game, but unfortunately didn't qualify because they lost on away goals, which is unfortunate. And then the season we've just had, they get through that second qualifying round once again, but lose to Maccabi Haifa, losing 2-1 on aggregate there. So unfortunately for Steaua Bucharest, you would have thought they'd do a little bit better, but unfortunately for them, they just haven't. The final team we're going to look at then, who have been consistently in European football, is Dinamo Bucharesti, and they seem to have done subpar basically in this first season, going to the third qualifying round of the Euro Cup, but lose to Maccabi Tel Aviv, which isn't the best result. Lose 2-1 on aggregate despite drawing the second leg 0-0. Season afterwards though, do a lot better, get through all their qualifying rounds, this time beat Maccabi Tel Aviv in that fourth qualifying round and get into Group F. Beat Trabzonspor, beaten 2-1, but lose their other games, all 5 other games, including to Red Bull Leipzig and Atletico Madrid. So a very, very tough group actually. Those two teams probably should be Champions Leagues, not Europa League, but for whatever reason they're there, and they managed to get past our boys Dinamo Bucharesti. So unfortunate stuff there, but probably a good performance overall, I would say. And then the season we just had, lose at that final hurdle before the group stages to Standard Liège. They lose 6-3 on aggregate after a pretty decent qualifying campaign before that, beating Aberdeen and Lokomotiva. So pretty good going until that final game, and they just couldn't quite do it. So that's it for today's episode. I hope you have enjoyed it. Next time we'll go a lot further in the future, so there's a lot more to catch up on and things like that. Before you go, make sure you do drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you check out those t-shirts as well if you want to get one for yourself, because I think they're pretty cool and I hope that you guys like them. So thanks very much for watching, and I will see you next time for some more billionaire action.